Today we get to start a new unit. It is our boxes and bullets unit. Let's get out our writing intention sheet. Today's date is 10-20. Today as a writer, I will learn how to structure an essay. I think you are ready to graduate to some new and very grown-up challenges. In this next unit of study, you'll be writing essays. Do any of you have older brothers and sisters? Thumbs up if you do. I'm pretty sure you will have heard your brother or sister working on essays, because this is a kind of writing that people do a lot when they are in middle school and high school, and especially when they are in college. If you learn to write essays well, that skill will give you a magic carpet, helping you get into great colleges and scholarships. An ability to write essays will give you a magic carpet that will take you places in life. The entries you've collected and the stories you've developed are wonderful, but writers don't just write stories. For the next few weeks, instead of writing stories, you will write essays. Instead of writing about small moments or scenes, you will write about big ideas. This is new work for you writers. Before anyone starts a new project, it helps to see an example of what they're going to make. When you want to learn to dive, it helps to watch someone else doing the dive you aim to do. You notice the way the diver points her toes as she leaps off the board and the angle with which she hits the angle. You watch thinking, I'm going to try to dive in just that way. It is no different when you want to write a new kind of text, a new genre. It helps to study the work of someone who has written that sort of text. So listen and look as I read you an essay written by a writer just your age. As you listen, you'll be thinking, I'm going to write in just that kind of way. Pay careful attention to the moves this writer makes. A true friend. No other relationship is like my grandmother's relationship with me. I really understand her. I could tell her anything, and every time I saw her, I felt happy. The first reason my grandmother, Evelyn, was special to me is because I felt like I was the only one who really understood her. An example of that is when one day I went to her house. Everyone was getting ready for dinner. I noticed my grandmother, Evelyn, just sitting alone at the dinner table. I sat down next to her. My aunt came over. She asked, Grandma, what do you want to eat for dinner? Is she talking like that to great-grandma? Just because she is old doesn't mean that she is stupid, I thought to myself. My grandma didn't reply. This time I asked her, but how I would ask anyone, Grandma, what do you want to eat for dinner? Whatever you are eating, Sophie, she said softly. I felt that if only everyone tried to talk to her like that, maybe she would feel normal. She could tell that I really understood her. I really understood her because we talked to each other. I really understood her because we listened to each other. I really understood her because we spent time with each other. Sometimes you can get to know somebody without words. Not only did I understand her, but I knew I could tell her anything. An example of that is when one day at school I wasn't happy. Someone was bullying me, so I went to my great-grandmother's house. I sat down next to her. I put my hand on her hand. I told her what had happened. When she answered, she always made me feel like I was right. She never said, just stay away from him, or just ignore him, he'll stop. She's always listening carefully, and she would say, You're right, Sophie, you're doing the right thing. When she told me that, I forgot about why I was angry. I could tell her anything because we didn't tell each other secrets. I could tell her anything because we understood each other's problems. I could tell her anything because we didn't judge each other. Everyone should have somebody in their life they can tell anything to. Perhaps the most important reason why she was special was because when I saw her, I felt happy. I felt happy when I saw her on Chinoka. It was a time when everyone was together. I felt happy when I saw her on Thanksgiving because when we said our thanks, she always prayed for me. I felt happy when I saw her on her birthday, because everyone was there and peaceful. An example of how she makes me feel happy, is one day I just woke up in the wrong side of the bed. I was very cranky that day. I went to my great-grandmother's house. I slumped on the couch. I heard my great-grandmother's voice. "Sophie," she said. "Why the long face?" She sat down next to me. "I'm just tired, that's all," I said. "Okay. Do you want something?" she said. "I'm okay," I said to her. I put my head on her shoulder. I could tell that she was trying to make me feel better. I smiled. I realized that because of my great-grandmother, I was feeling good. I am always happy when I see my great-grandmother Evelyn. Every minute of the world is special when you have somebody to comfort. Although I can't spend time with her anymore, the memories I have of times we spent together are so precious. Just because she isn't actually here doesn't mean I don't feel her with me. As Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Love is the key to the problems of the world." I know that is the love that we shared helps solve our problems. I will meet many of her people in my life, but nobody will ever take her place. Writers, today we are not going to have a typical mini lesson where I teach you something, you try it, and then you go off to work independently. Because I want to give you a feeling in your bones for what it's like to write an essay. Instead of a typical mini lesson, we'll work together to write a flash draft essay that you'll then each write onto paper. Last year, you probably worked to write a shared speech to make a change in the school, arguing for a cause such as getting more magazines for the school library. This time, instead of a shared speech, we're going to work together to write a shared essay. As we do this, I especially want you to learn about how writers structure or organize essays.